So we're going to go over a little bit of a foundation for you so we can get over like those little early bumps, like what the heck are light codes and what the heck is light language. And we are going to also be channeling several dialects for you. Of course, we're going to be explaining all of that. But before we get started, just to get this beautiful group, you guys are such lovely, lovely people. We want to create a nice sacred space because we are going to be bringing in sacred energy. So will you please join me in a little meditation? Is that okay? You guys ready for that? Okay. Now this meditation is actually, we're going to be doing like a foundational meditation of Fractaline healing. We'll begin by slowing our breath, deepening our breath. And I do recommend closing your eyes for this one if you feel comfortable. And we're going to begin by imagine, sense, and feel pulling the energy from the earth into the bottoms of your feet. On the inhale, you're going to draw that energy up into the bottoms of your feet. And on your exhale, we are going to relax. Nothing to do, just relax. And on the inhale, we're going to draw that earth energy up a little bit higher in the body. On the exhale, relax. Breathing at your own pace, your own rhythm, tuning in to the best of your ability to this very healing and grounding energy. Inhale, drawing the earth energy up, perhaps up to your knees. Exhale, relax. Each breath fills you up more than the breath before. Each breath, you allow that earth energy to travel up a little bit higher. So we'll be pulling this earth energy up eventually all the way to the top of our head. Right now, perhaps we're going to draw that earth energy to our hips. Nice, deep inhales, nice, deep exhales. Inhale draws the earth energy up to our hips. Exhales, relax. Inhale, draw the earth energy up to our belly button. We'll have another breath here. Remembering each breath is drawing that earth energy up through the bottoms of the feet. Each breath is filling you up more than the time before. And each exhale is relaxing you more than the time before. And then we'll draw that earth energy up all the way to the heart center on the inhale. Exhale, relax. Now you might find it helpful to engage your muscles as you pull this earth energy up. Can tighten the muscles in your legs, perhaps in your abdomen on the inhale, and then on the exhale, we relax it all. You can play around with that if you like. Inhale brings the earth energy up to the throat area. Exhale, relaxes. Feeling your whole body relax. Feeling maybe a little bit heavier as you're grounding, connecting with the earth. And now we're going to draw that earth energy up all the way to the top of our head, and you might find it helpful to roll your eyes up to your third eye as you draw this energy way up to your crown. Exhale, relaxes, keeping the energy in the body. One more breath like that. Very nice. Okay, on your next exhale, we're going to release that energy out your crown like you're a fountain. Inhaling, drawing that earth energy up. Release that energy out your crown on the exhale. That energy cascading down your body like a waterfall. only to be brought back in on your next inhale. Creating now that toroidal field some of you will be familiar with. Cycling the energy. Continuing with this breath. This is going to be how you continue to breathe as we enter into the quantum realms of Fractaline healing. And through the darkness of your eyes, perhaps you see, perceive, sense a glimmering, shimmering line far out into space, horizontal line. It's quite beautiful. There's some quality about it that you know is very sweet and very loving. And as this line comes more into focus, you notice that there is a vertical line which intersects this horizontal line, also glimmering and shimmering. And you notice that maybe they're vibrating with the rhythms of the universe, vibrating with the rhythms of love. And as these two lines come more into focus, we perceive more and more lines, vertical and horizontal lines, intersecting one another. And eventually, we notice, in the ways that we notice things, that they are building, they're creating a three-dimensional grid-like pattern, kind of like three-dimensional graph paper. And they're all vibrating and glimmering and shimmering, all with the rhythms of love, with the rhythms of the universe. And they're this gorgeous, translucent, multicolored, crystalline, colored structure, just exquisite. So much so that perhaps your heart is even called forward. And now we find ourselves at the base of one of these grid lines. And we notice that this grid line is actually quite large, is huge actually. We find ourselves at the base of it and we realize that we can penetrate this grid line. It isn't solid. So I invite you to dip a toe and discover that, oh, that feels good, that's okay. And you realize that you could actually slip inside, kind of like diving into a pool of water. So I'll invite you all to be brave and jump on into this beautiful space, jump on into that grid line. And as you do so, your chakras are aligned, your etheric matrix is aligned to your physical body, and then you find yourself suspended weightlessly, beautifully, easily within the line of the grid. And I want you just to breathe here. Feel the energy of this space. Feel the energy of this space. Just breathe. Now we can move around in this space. We're actually quite free in this space. We can swim, we could walk or run, we could fly in this space. We can certainly turn around and do cartwheels and flips. So I invite you to just see if you can move. And it's not any more complicated than deciding to move. So just go do something. Don't think too hard about it. Just give it a try. Some of you will love to fly. Some of you may love to do a flip or go for a swim. Now, some of you may be realizing that there's a great heart expansion just from being in this space, but I'm going to introduce you to a very special part of Fractaline healing. So I'd like to invite you all to turn to your right. And you notice off in the distance is this beautiful golden sphere, this golden orb that is just so happy to see you in here. And it is swiftly bouncing, moving in its glorious way towards you. It's so happy. And even your being is picking up on the joy of this golden sphere. Perhaps your heart is being brought forward even more. The golden sphere is about the size of like a basketball, soccer ball. Could be a little bigger, could be a little smaller. It's all good. However it presents to you, though, is perfectly fine. And we're just so glad that it's here for us. The golden sphere is a very healing, masterful energy. Golden sphere pauses about 6 feet away, very respectful. And we thank the golden sphere for coming. So thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being here. And we'll ask the golden sphere if it has anything it could help us with today. Is there any kind of healing or alignments that our being could really use? So the golden sphere obliges and swiftly moves around the body, perhaps moving in and out of your body, finding eventually some spot within or around your being that could use a little assistance today. We don't need to know what this is, but it's just going to offer us a little healing. And so it goes away to work on this area, bubbling, percolating, releasing. And we can just be the sacred witness, nothing to do but witness this beautiful golden energy. And breathe. And then, once it's finished its healing, it begins to expand. It grows bigger and bigger, taking up more and more space within your body, growing bigger and bigger and bigger until it pops and fills you up with golden light. And we breathe. This beautiful golden energy energizing every cell, molecule, and electron of your body with the golden light that is now yours, that is now being integrated into your being on every level. And then the golden sphere retracts itself, leaving you completely full of this energy. And we thank the golden sphere for its assistance. And we know that this is a beautiful space that we can come back to anytime. The golden sphere is here for us anytime. So we are going to now start drifting upwards to the surface of the grid line, deepening our breath, focusing on our breath, remembering once again that nice meditation we started with in the beginning, that breath work where we pulled that earth energy up from the bottoms of the feet, releasing that energy out the crown as we drift upwards, and then we cross over the barrier of the grid line. So now we are outside of the grid, still full of that amazing energy that we picked up along the way. Deepening our breath, continuing to pull that earth energy up from the bottoms of the feet, releasing out the crown on the exhale. And then we are going to contain that breath. So we're not going to release it out the exhale. We're going to keep it in the body. And then as you're ready, you can bring yourself back to the room where you're sitting in and open your eyes. Okay, welcome back, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that. There's a nice, big, heart-opened room. So thank you. So now we are going to dive into the light language now that we're all in this zone. It's a perfect place to be. So light language is a language of the light. Now I am going to just take it easy for a few minutes while everybody kind of comes back out of that meditation, because I know some of you went very, very deep. So we'll go slowly here in the beginning while we collect ourselves. Light language is the language of the light. It's the language of the universe, because ultimately light language is energy, and everything is energy. Everything is energy. So light language is every interaction that we have with our world that is of the light, that is of the universe, that is of source, that is of love. And light language can be brought through in a multitude of ways, right? If it's everything's energy, then it can come through in a multitude of ways. But it's also something that is channeled. We can consciously connect to these energy streams, these levels of consciousness, and bring them through. And you might see this in works of art. You might see this or hear this in beautiful music, the things that move us, the things that touch our heart, because it is a divine expression. It is an expression of love. We see it in dance. We can also see them written as symbols, such as the ones that you would find in my books, the little book of light codes, Light Codes for the Soul. You can see it written in a long string of symbols and sigils. That would be a light language expression. And then if we condense that down, if we condense that long string of information, we condense that down, that's where you get the light code. So that's the difference between light language and a light code. Is one is a long drawn out string of information or healing, and the other is the condensed, compacted, bite-sized version of that. That's the light code. Now, what we were going to talk about today was galactic light language. How many of you have an idea of what galactic light language is going to be? Some, okay. So we look at our universe, we have all these amazing constellations. There's lots of planets out there. There's lots of stars out there. And every one of those planets, every one of those stars, every one of those constellations, every one of those galaxies, every one of those asteroids and comets has a unique energetic signature, just like you do. Each one of you has a unique energetic signature. But a planet just has a lot of mass, so it's like a big signature, I guess, from where we sit as a human in this incarnation. When you're born, you are peppered with all of these energies from the constellations, from the planets. That's what astrology is, right? You're peppered with all these energies that are going to help influence and direct how your life unfolds. And it's a beautiful practice to study, right? It helps us move along with a little bit more clarity, perhaps. But each one of those stars, each one of those planets, each one of those constellations with that energetic signature is going to have a specific light language dialect. And that's because it's a signature. It's a unique frequency. It's a unique energy band. Does that make sense? Everyone has its own unique energy band. So when someone says, I speak multiple light language dialects, they're saying that they can tune into those energy bands and transmit that energy in a unique way. So for me, I speak light language, which is the language of gibberish, really. But it's not about the gibberish. It's about the energy. It's about the energy band that we're connecting to and transmitting. And from that, you guys, as the receivers, get to take that energy and work with it in the most amazing, wonderful ways. Because what we're transmitting is love. At the end of the day, it's love. So when we say that we channel the Pleiadians, we're channeling the group of stars and planets and whatever is involved with the Pleiadians, including any potential beings and the consciousness and all that's there. When we say that we're channeling the Centurions, it's the stars, it's the planets, it's the beings, it's the consciousness that's involved with that area. Arcturus is the same, Sirius is the same. Venus, we could channel light language from Venus. We could channel light language from Mars. We could channel light language from Halley's Comet. Remember Halley's Comet? Yeah. Because it has an energetic signature. It has its own frequency. And everything out there in the universe is built on love. And so it has something that it can teach us, some bit of interesting conscious information or healing energy that could potentially be useful for us. Because all these energies are multidimensional. And you're multidimensional. You're working on a lot of different levels. All you sitting right here right now, you're working on a lot of different levels all the time. So it's good to remain open to knowing that, and knowing that when we connect with energy, its ability is if far supersedes anything that our brain could ever conceive of, right? Like it's goes so deep that we can't even possibly think we can keep up with it. But know that consciousness is forever growing, forever expanding. And so it's our duty as conscious beings, as a being of the love and the light, as a being who wants to evolve and advance and learn and grow, that we do our best to continue on that mission. So you're here learning about light language as part of that journey, as part of growing in your understanding of what energy is and the potential that it holds for you and for all of us as a collective. Our soul has layers upon layers upon layers of consciousness, like levels of consciousness. We're in a multitude of realities, dimensions, densities, all simultaneously, because time really doesn't exist. I mean, it kind of exists, but it doesn't exist everywhere at all the same way. So your soul has hyper-focused its energy, its consciousness into that physical being for a period of time. But it doesn't mean that your soul is only hyper-consumed with your life right now. It's probably also doing some other things somewhere else in some other different ways. And you might even experience some of those parallel experiences through dreams. You might experience some past lives through, different regressions, through dreams, through meditations. And it's all potentially happening at the same time. Those are all different layers and frequencies, and everything is energy. We must get good at discerning different energies. So when somebody speaks light language, we want to sit in our heart. We want to be connected to our heart, which is why I'm a big fan of doing lots of heart work, because this is the center that's going to be the most powerful for connecting with all these energies. When someone channels light language, they're going to be channeling on a certain frequency, whatever that is. And if they are channeling informational light language, in other words, there's a message to come through on that light language. If we can feel that energy, then we can start to put images, words. It's going to be unique to every single one of us, how we work with that. But that download is going to come in. So for me, when someone speaks light language to me and asks me to translate it, if it's translatable, as in if it is a language, a light language channeling that is informational based, there's something to be said, then if they channel it clearly, then I can receive pictures, a story, some kind of bloop, there it is, and then I will be able to share in English what the channeling is. Now, if someone else sitting next to me also has that gift and is able to receive those messages because we have practiced this, and this is something that has, evolved into a gift, if you want to call it that. They might use different language because they have a different upbringing from me. They have different language patterns in their body, in their being, but the overall theme is going to be the same. So it's not like translating English to French or German to Arabic, okay? Like, it's not going to be a super direct translation, but you get the gist of it, which is what's important, right? That's what really matters. So how do we do this? We practice energy. We learn about energy. We learn healing modalities. We play with energy. Have you ever done playing with energy with your hands and directing it, and maybe charging your food with your hands and giving a healing to somebody, and then watching and paying attention to what happens. So we're not doing it mindlessly. We're not zoning out going, oh, this feels so good, as you give someone an energy healing. It's like, is that for you or for them? But okay. But it's like, pay attention to what the energy is doing. Then when you're in the situation where you're hearing somebody channel light language, you're going to be a lot closer to being able to translate it into something that's relatable to another person that hasn't developed those skills yet. So I would like to start channeling some different dialects for you, because that is really what you guys are here for. So let's get on with that, okay? So I have a sense the Pleiadians are always, like, people love them. So we're going to start with the Pleiadians. And I'm going... Oh, cool. Okay. So I'm going to, sorry, they were just talking to me. We're going to channel typical Pleiadians, and then we're going to do Pleiadian High Priestess. So you can hopefully feel or hear the difference. So the first one's going to be general Pleiadian consciousness. Now for this, I know there's people who believe in aliens, there's people who don't, whatever. If you're someone who does not believe in aliens, just take this in as consciousness is everywhere. Consciousness is light, love, and it's coming from that system. Okay, so this doesn't have to involve a bunch of beings. This is the energy from that area. Okay? It's the collective energy of the Pleiades. So I do invite you to keep myself some space, to keep your feet on the floor if that's comfortable for you, remembering that nice grounding practice that we did, pulling that earth energy up. You don't have to do that meditation, but I just want you to feel your feet and feel into your heart space. You can place your hands over your heart if you wish, because that's just going to keep you in a nice receptive state. So we're going to start with the Pleiadians. Ana dalot tkamasei tkamatot papana. Ana so kana dalai tinoko patay shikinate sa tanno masata. Hadot tkapakana dalai tanmatana. Greetings, my friends. It's so lovely to see you today. Thank you so much for coming to this event. Consciousness is certainly rising, especially when you all gather in places like this. And open your hearts. Not only for yourselves, opening your hearts, not only for yourselves, but opening your hearts to connect with one another. The heart energy is so strong when you connect with another. And the more hearts that get involved, the more hearts that get connected, the more powerful it all becomes. We would like to offer you a blessing and gratitude for joining us today, because I know that the High Priestess are coming behind us and we want you to connect with them. But here is our blessing. May you shine bright. May your heart come forward like never before. May your love lead the way. Okay. So at the end of every channeling, I do the hara 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 sa sa sa. So that's how you know that I'm finished. That is like it's like saying aho. It's like saying amen. It's like saying, it's the conclusion, and it's to call on all the higher, beautiful energies in oneness and in strength, in harmony. That's kind of the deal with it. Okay, so that was the Pleiadian general consciousness, right? So now we're going to channel the High Priestess for the Pleiades. I don't know. We would actually like to offer you some healing energy. I know that we like to hear the translation because that's fun for you, but really it's much more better for you to receive the healing energy than information. Information is in one ear and out the other sometimes, so it's really about the energy, and we would love to offer you this love today. Please remember to breathe. Breathe. Feel your hearts. Yona dalai so kana dalo daganasi, ano kina dalai janasi, pana ana toka talatia sani, diagana kapa ano, hatia takapatano, hatia takapano, hatia takukakamano, ayano da, hadno dia salai danai no kotoko, homanane, homanane, homanane. Homanaya, homanaya, ano, homanaya, ho. Sanadan no kikinada, hokatinana, panatia sokinikini, hotasika nikini, hosa nika nikani, hosa nika nikani, anakama, anakonamo, anako anna. Yeah. Hara hara. Sa 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 sa. The thing with these different races is the ones that we're connecting to are in a different kind of realm density to us. Like they're not in so much the 3D physical realm. They can come in. They're capable, I guess, of coming down and into this particular realm. But their consciousness is ranging realms. So the general Pleiadian consciousness, let's say, could be around 4 to 7D. Okay. And then this is just coming. And then the High Priestess consciousness would be more 9D. And then you're getting, and then above that, we get into the Ascended Masters and stuff, but they're all able to communicate with one another, of course, just like we can communicate with them as well. So for humanity, we're not really in that space. You're not seeing a bunch of humans walking around in 6D, right? Like we're struggling here to get to 5. Well, like we're working on it. So our planet at the moment doesn't have that hierarchy.
So it's not a hierarchy versus maybe just where some people are. And sometimes each person, even myself, we oscillate between love, being closer, and then maybe a denser vibration, just depending on our day. But
yeah, daily life. Absolutely influences where we're residing. So, but yeah, like the High Priestess would be a collective group that has ascended from their general realm. So maybe when we have a group of humans that ascend and that can actually stay in that 5th dimension consistently, but that could just be the whole planet, hopefully, like we're going to hold that space that we're all doing this together. I do want to channel the High Priestess for the Syrians, okay, because they're still waiting here. And they've already told me that they just want this to be another healing, and they're telling me that it's an activation. So we're doing a DNA activation for holding more light, and the rest will come. You're going to get it in the download. Anyways, DNA activation from the Syrians. I made a relationship with all my angels and guides. I continue to make a relationship with all of the beings of light who I work with. It's an ongoing understanding. Every once in a while, I check in and say, we're good? We good? Does anybody need to change their position? Because we have a whole bunch of beings that work with us. And sometimes they have to get called off to do something else. And I want to know if it isn't in their best alignment anymore to be in that service. I'm in service, they're in service, but it's up to me to be responsible for the team. Because they're here helping me, but I have to take responsibility for that. So every once in a while, it's like we do a little check-in. Is everybody good? Does anybody need to switch out? Okay, if you need to switch out, then can you get yourself a replacement? Like, don't leave me high and dry here. And they're cool. They know, but it's good to be honoring, and it's good to be respectful, and it's good to engage with them from that loving, respectful place. For me, it's just how my body is able to bring through the sound, and it's the energy behind the sound. It's not the actual, sounds that are being made. I know some people really want light language to just be like sound healing, and so then they're looking for it to be more, perhaps, I'm not painting this as a broad thing, but some people might think it's supposed to sound this way if it's this dialect, and sound completely different if it's this dialect. But in my experience, because it's all coming through what my mouth is able to form, what my tongue is able to do, there's going to be a lot of those similarities. And then what I've noticed is the higher consciousness beings take, when they work with me, anyways, they take those pauses to allow the energy to carry out. So it isn't just because you have someone channeling really, really fast doesn't always mean that it's a lot of energy coming. Sometimes it's a lot of nothing. And likewise, sometimes silence can be nothing too, but sometimes silence can be super powerful, and sometimes the really fast channeling can be super powerful. So it's all on the channeler and whoever's coming through and the energy they are able to work with. But thank you so much.